Before I start, I have one question.
Yes,
This class is an introduction of next class started on Monday. That's
Monday or Monday
DevOps.
or Tuesday?
Huh?
Monday or Tuesday?
Monday, Tuesday, Monday next week
Next week it will start either Monday or Tuesday.
or Tuesday.
That is not
Okay,
sure.
it's
It can be started on Monday also. It can be started on Tuesday also.
okay. This course will be DevSecOps or DevOps. Which one?
This is for DevOps with the security tools.
Okay, with extra security tools. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Okay. So let me start then. Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Pritam, and I do have I'm currently working as a DevOps SRE engineer, and I do have more than 10 years of work experience in DevOps, DevSecOps, cloud engineering, SRE, those kind of tools. Um, and in my journey, I have done multiple certification during different time zone. Like for example, I have done Terraform, AWS certificate, GCP, Kubernetes, those kind of certificates I have done, and all the ecosystem inside the DevOps I have worked, like starting from creating the application to the deploy the application, and after that logging and monitoring, all the things I have done. And uh, and in my journey last 5 years I have I'm teaching in Visual Path, and almost more than 500 people I from my side I have teach via Visual Path, and whoever joined and whatever their expectation was, everything was met. Okay, someone wants to convert their journey from non-technical to technical, that was a separate situation. Someone wants to move from one project to different project using the DevOps knowledge, that is also we have done. Okay, so those things, small things we have done, and once we progress you will understand more about the process and all. Okay, and let me tell you before I start, this is the session for basically DevSecOps. And in the DevSecOps, what we are going to achieve is like from starting to from the basic, like I I think that you don't know anything about DevOps and all. So I will start from the very basic, like Linux operating system commands and those things. Then our journey will end on the after deployment, how to monitor a specific application. So in throughout the journey we will cover everything, and along with that we are going to see some security tool, like in the entire journey, different level we have to implement the security. So that is why it is called DevSecOps. This is nothing but development, security and operation. So we are going to implement the security concept in every layer of our DevOps journey. So that is why we call it DevSecOps. And lastly, this course is not about any scripting, but I want to give you some heads up or some crash course about Python, which is needed also for our day-to-day activity. May need or may not need, that is a different scenario, but it is good to have the knowledge of the scripting point of view. So I will guide you for the basic to advance of Python tools and technologies, and you can implement later in your journey, or you can practice more. You can connect with me later and I will guide you what to do and what not to do. Okay. Before I start, anyone has any specific question, or want to share anything, what they are working, what is their aim, and why you are want to learn DevOps or DevSecOps? So anything you want to share with me?
Uh, I'm very glad to attend this very very interesting class. I hope I will.
Your voice is breaking actually. I'm not able to hear you. Amit, I'm not able to hear you. Anyone is able to hear him?
No,
Yeah, Amit, I'm not able to hear you, and other also not able to. Okay, anybody else is here to share their like their journey or something, or why they want to like go with the DevOps, any specific thing or reason? Or at least tell me what is your experience, like what are the level you are right now, like what you are doing or something like that. If anyone want to share, you are feel free to share this.
Teacher, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Uh, what's the purpose of this course? If someone that does not
Oh, sorry, Amit, your voice is breaking. I think you are on transit. So whenever you have free time, you can text me on the chat box. I can like update you, or I can understand what is your
can you hear me?
confusion.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
I
now?
can
Well,
hear you, but I think you are on
can you
transit.
hear me
So
now?
yes, I can.
Uh, my question is, what's the prerequisites of this course before before start? If someone does not understand or knows anything about DevOps can take this course.
But what is someone does not understand? In which point of view?
Uh, uh, what's the prerequisites of this course that the person can meet to take this course?
Yes.
Prerequisites.
Oh, okay. You are asking for the prerequisite of the course to start this course.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes.
okay, no, that is a one valid question. So we don't have any prerequisite to start the course. We don't have any. The only yeah, you can finish
Hmm?
first. Okay,
Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. Actually, there is no prerequisite to start the thing. If somebody has some knowledge on the like project level or some working experience,
Sorry.
it is better. But if you don't have, that is also not an issue. Only two things I need from you. One thing is you should have one active AWS account, which is free for 720 hours or 1 year. So I need it from you so that you can practice alongside with me. And the second thing is your time and dedication. So whatever I will teach, you should have practice from your end and come up with the question the next day. So that kind of prerequisite or dedication I need. Other than that, there is no prerequisite. Whatever is there or listed on the particular our training document, everything will be provided. No prerequisite is needed.
sir, myself Prashant. So
Hi
I am a
Prashant.
civil engineering background.
Okay.
Am I qualifying to attend this or
Yeah,
to
yeah.
take
You
up this
so there is no, as I
DevOps?
said, there is no prerequisite of that. But only thing as a professional, I can share with you that after the like course, what is your aim? That should be clear to you. That is the main thing, because I
So I
don't
want
know
to
your situation.
jump from. I want to shift from non-IT to IT. So this
Okay.
is without non-programmable, right, sir?
Yeah, non-programmer,
Only
but
using
I
this.
can guide you to do some programming also using Python. That is not a problem.
Okay. So what about after getting that train? What about job after this course?
Job is not there, but Visual Path will give you some certificate. Using that, you can apply for different jobs.
Okay. So are you
Like,
going to refer any companies?
not company, but I am pretty sure after attending the session, we will build our resume. So once we submit it, definitely like in a week or 2 weeks, you will get 2 3 calls. That is for sure. Then rest is your technological skill. What you have learned, you have to convey that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Bipin, I will answer your question. Any other question? If anybody has some question, they can ping me over the chat. That is also fine. You can ask me. If
The
not,
training, hi,
hi Nazim.
hi Pritam. The training is totally on AWS, or do we have multiple clouds
No, no, it
for
is
DevOps
basically the training is only for, well, like basically focusing on DevOps with AWS.
with AWS? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hello, Surabhuti this
Yes.
side, sir.
Hi,
So,
Saurabh.
sir, okay. So, sir, are you provide the AWS DevOps or like others DevOps only, right? Uh, Market have a multiple DevOps tool, right? Ansible.
No, basically that is like main DevOps tools, the core DevOps
Okay,
tools. I will
okay,
go through the things. You will understand that. But to start, core DevOps tools I am going to cover, and those things how to implement on the cloud level, that I will cover.
okay.
So
See,
not to
because
worry. Yeah,
yeah,
I
because
understand your question.
sir, our environment I work on a production server that is a physical server, so that's why
Okay,
I
on-prem
implement
server.
the DevOps tool.
Hmm.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, let me proceed with some of the things. Then later, end of the session, I will ask the question. Like ask, you can ask me the question. I will answer that. But let me start and let me give the overview. So as I'm thinking like you don't have any idea of any DevOps or DevSecOps or whatever. From that point of view, I will start just to give you the basic what we are going to cover in the entire session and what we can get after getting the training. Okay. So in our in our software industry, there is a one concept that is called SDLC. Okay. Let me increase the font. That is one concept of that is called SDLC. That is nothing but software development life cycle. So whatever application right now we are using in our day-to-day basis, be it Facebook, be it on Gmail or whatever we are using, those are the product or those are the softwares. Okay. So anything. So we as a customer consume those application, right? So that means somebody has created the application. So if I take the example of Facebook, let's say, so we are using the Facebook, but somebody has created the Facebook. So Facebook has a company, they are working on the Facebook application. Now in that organization, the software development life cycle is implemented. So there are basically like overall there are three layers of the software development life cycle. First thing is
Excuse me,
uh, yes, please.
is there any shared screen? I
Oh,
cannot
I
see
have not
anything.
shared. Oh, sorry for that. Sorry for that. I just open a normal document.
Yes,
Is it
thank
visible?
you. Yes, yes, it's visible. Thank you.
Okay. So what I'm saying is software development life cycle. So in the organization level, this particular thing happens. So on like top level, there are three phases of a software development. So first thing is called dev. First thing is called dev. Second thing is called test. On the high level, I'm saying, and the final stage, it is called deploy. Okay. So dev, test, and deploy. There are multiple other layers, but as of now, just understand the development life cycle. So in the dev phase, the software actually being built. So let's say the example of Facebook. Now Facebook has different kind of features. So everything was developed by the developer, be it on different programming language, that can be Java, that can be Python, she has, or whatever the language is, they have developed. So in that phase, in the dev phase, developer will develop the particular application. Now once the application is built, it is handed over to the other next team, that is called test team. So what the testing team will do, testing team will test the feature, the outcome of the application. So they will act as an end user and try to find out the issue in the particular application. So that is the purpose of the test team. Once they get some issue, they report those things to the development team. Development team will fix that and again pass the application to the testing team. So this life cycle will continue until unless there is no bug or no issue in the particular application. Once everything is tested, so everything is okay, then next thing is to deploy phase. So deploy phase means now tester said that okay, we are fine with the application, there is no issue, then this is going to deploy. Deploy means this is going to like deploy to the end user like us, like Facebook development team developed that, Facebook testing team has tested that, and they, the other team, is deploy that. So once they deploy, we can access the application. So we are the end user. Okay. Now in every organization or every project you work, this is the like high level of life cycle of any software development life cycle. Okay. Now from dev and test is okay, developer develop this, tester test this. So after that what? So developer don't understand beyond the development phase, like beyond the coding and those kind of things. They just know how to code and how to do that. So they develop the product and they pass to the next team. Now once the testing team was done, also testing, before testing also there are some team who can give this product to the testing team, who can pass the product to the testing team. Then once the testing is done, who can do the deployment. So these are being done by a specific team which is called DevOps. So DevOps basically nothing but the combination of development and the operation. And you can call after development whatever phase is, that is called ops. High level we can call it ops. Okay, that is called ops means operation. So so development and the operation, this is the combination of the SDLC life cycle. Now once developer develop the application, after whatever the application will go through, that is being done by a specific team, and DevOps is come to the picture in this particular moment. Now you can think, okay, this is a very small thing, right? So this is developer develop that, and then what to do? Then just to pass this application to test and then deploy. That is very simple and some kind of thing you may understand or people may think, but this is not true. Why? Because after development is done, there are multiple checkpoints. Checkpoint means the code is bug free or not. Bug free means like the whatever developer has developed, the code is correct or not. That is one kind of check. Second thing is whatever module they use. Now what is module? Now to build one application, like for example, to build a house we need bricks, right? So similarly, to build one application they need some kind of code which is already there. So that is a development phase, but I'm saying those are called modules. We are going to see what is modules in our DevOps point of view. But as of now, just understand, like they can use some modules which is created by some other team. Now in that particular module, is there any issue or not? That is also need to be checked. Okay. Now once that is done, application is hand over to the testing team. Then also DevOps team is here to hand over this application. Now testing team will test it and revert the application back to the developer. Now that pipeline or that thing also we can bridge the gap between the tester and the developer. So like these small steps, everywhere we are in the in the total SDLC life cycle. Okay. Now just to now I want to give you some overview of the tools point of view. What are the tools are involved in between? Okay. Now suppose there is one developer who is developing the code. Okay. Now once they develop the code, they has to store the code in somewhere. Why they need to store the code? Because suppose I am the developer right now and I am working alone. I am the only developer of my project. So in that case, it is okay to store the code in my local system or my personal laptop or my organizational laptop. That is fine. But if there are multiple other developer along with me, then what we have to do? We have to share the code. So in that case, we cannot keep the code inside our system or local system. Okay. In such scenario where we are working with multiple team members, then it is advisable to store the code in some central location. Now whatever central location normally people use, that is called Git. Okay, so Git is one of the DevOps tool. The purpose of the tool is to store the source code. So whatever code, no, like it can be developer code, it can be other person code or anything, we can store it, so that if there is any issue with our personal laptop, then also the copy of the code is present in the remote location. Okay, so that is called Git. So the developer store the code, their code, to the Git. Okay, once the Git is like Git, the code is pushed or code is stored to the Git, then the next phase began, like the operation phase began. Now in the operation thing, suppose this is the entire operation thing, because I already told you DevOps is nothing but the combination of development and the operation. So development is done, they store their code in the Git. Now after they store the Git, then high level it should be passed to the testing team, right? Now before the testing team, we have to do like some build activity. Why we need the build activity? And next phase is the build. Okay, next phase is a build. Now what is build? Suppose developer has developed 10,000 or 20,000 lines of code. So it is not like that we just copy the code and paste it somewhere. It is not like that. We have to convert the entire application in a single file. That is where the build come to the picture. Okay. So this source code needs to be converted into a single file, and build will do that. And the name of the file, we call it in our language, is artifact. Okay, so this is the artifact. Now what are the tools we are going to use in the build section? So we are going to use Maven for our building tool. So whatever developer has developed, that code will be converted to artifact using one build tool that is called Maven. So this step is done. So artifact is there. Now artifact, what is artifact? Artifact is nothing but a file. Okay, entire source code converted to a single file, that is called artifact. Now once we have the artifact, then we have another challenge. What is the challenge? Now suppose this person who is developing the application, they make the change in the code frequently. it happened like in the real time scenario, developer develop their code like or change their code more than 5 times in a day, or maybe beyond that. It can happen because they don't know how what is the issue is going to come, so they change the code frequently. So that means whenever they are pushing their code to the gate, the new artifact is being created. So if they created like once, then the artifactory 1 is being created. If they created in the second time, artifactory 2 is being created. So like that way it is created. So that is one challenge. Okay. And there is another challenge. What is the challenge? Let's say, like, all we are using Facebook or some kind of social networking application. So you will see after every 6 months or after every 1 year, this application is launching new feature. Let's say, like, 5 years back, there was no concept of the emoji comment or emoji like on those kind of thing. Now we have that. So why? Because they have implemented those changes. So that is called like feature building in our term. The new feature comes and they build that particular feature and deploy that. Okay. Now that is fine. So suppose particular one feature, like, one is the old feature, two is the new feature, let's say. Now after this particular deployment, once we do the deployment, now end users should access the application. But if after the deployment some kind of issue is coming, the application is not accessible, then there is a huge business loss. If 1 second or few seconds or few minutes, if any networking side is down, then that means they are giving huge penalties and huge like amount is being lost from the organization point of view. So in such scenario, suppose as an engineer, we deploy our second artifact, but that is not working. Then what we have to do? Immediately we have to switch it back to the number one, because that was the older one. Two is the newer version, one is was the older version. So this is the challenge. Not only that, developer develop multiple time, we are getting multiple artifacts, but also if one new feature is not working, we have to switch back to the old stable feature. So in that case, in or to resolve this particular issue, what we are suggesting, or in our industry is suggesting, that is to store this artifact in some places, so that next time if some issue comes, we can like revert easily to the older version, because we already store those artifacts in a centralized location or some location, right? So that is called artifactory management. Okay, that is called artifactory management. So this is being done by various tools. We are going to see JFrog or S3 bucket to achieve this particular goal. So whenever developer push their code, the new version code will be built and it will be converted to a artifact, and that artifact will be stored in artifactory management, which can be JFrog or S3 bucket, whatever it is. Okay, so that is the next phase. Now once this is done, now what is the next thing? So our end goal here is only deploy to the application to the testing environment. That is our end goal as of now. Okay. Now in order to deploy this application or deploy this particular file or the artifact to the testing environment, so we cannot copy one file and throw it to one particular environment. We have to create something. And what is something, that we will understand later, but we have to create something. And in that case, what is helping us? The helping us is Docker. Docker is going to help us to build this. So what Docker will do? So I am again giving one example. So suppose like in I'm giving my personal experience. So when I was in the teenage, like I used to work multiple different games, like laptop games, right? So that day we like we cannot buy every other game with the CD and those kind of things. So we downloaded those games from different website, and then we start the game or play the game. Now, many time I face this issue is I download the application, the exe file or whatever it is. I start the application, but the application is not starting or the game is not starting. And the reason is something they are asking, uh, the DLL file is missing from the project. Some files are not there. That is why the application was not starting. So what I have to do that time, I have to search for the DLL file separately, download that file, and copy the file to the project folder or the game folder, and then try to start the application. So maybe multiple 3 or 4 times different DLL files I have to download, store to the project folder, and the eventually the game start. Now the exe file is the main application, right? So artifact is the main application, but how to run the artifact, there are some dependent files here and there. Without those files the application will not run. So only not like that we have one application and we just start the application. No, we need some dependent files to start the application. So Docker help us to achieve this goal. So we are basically converting this artifact into one Docker image. Now what is Docker image? Inside the Docker image we have the main application, which is nothing but our artifact, and the dependent files. Sorry, dependent files to start the application. So Docker image is nothing but main application and the dependent file to start the application. So then what we have done, converted the artifact to the Docker image. Now once the Docker image is there, then we can deploy the application to the testing environment using one concept that is called Docker container. So from the Docker image, we are converting to the Docker container. Now, what is Docker container? Like any server, like any if somebody do not know server, I will clarify in a bit. But just to know, if there is like any server we can create, like EC2 or Cloud Engine or Compute Engine from the GCP point of view, those are nothing but the servers. Now, this server or the virtual machine, let's say, those are some kind of machine. So every machine should have some hard disk, some memory. So those are huge things. Like in my laptop, I'm using 16 GB RAM or 1 TB hard disk. So these are a huge configuration of a particular system. So container also does the same thing, that those are also virtual machines or some machines, but those are lightweighted virtual machines. That means it does not require that high-end configuration. With the small amount of memory, with the small amount of storage also, it can start. So container, Docker container and the virtual machine both are same, but the container is the lightweighted virtual machines. So using those small machines, we are going to deploy, or we are going to like publish our main application, like our main application image or the Docker image into a particular specific server. So the application is there. Now there is some testing team members who is going to access this particular application and verify this application is working fine or not. If they find some kind of issue, they can report it back to the developer. Developer fix the issue, developer push the code again and send it to the in this particular phases everything will be done. Again testing team will test and check the what is the issue is there. So this will continue until unless there is no bug in the application. Okay, so up to this point testing phase is done. Now there is some challenge. Okay, let me know first, as of now you are able to understand? As of now, any confusion, anybody, or any question to me? Anyone able to understand, or any doubt as of now? you can point it out, I can clarify that. Okay, if you don't have, if you have some question, you can put it on the chat, I will update accordingly. Okay, now the testing is done, or tester has tested the application, they said yes or no, whatever, but the testing is done. Now using the Docker, there is one challenge. What is the challenge? Now let's say, for example, this container is running. Now what is container? The lightweighted virtual machine, and where the actual application is running, right? Now if the container is dead, or somebody stop, or somebody kill the container, then what happens? The application is not available. So if the application is not available, then how the testing team can test it? So that is a challenge with the Docker, because it has some life cycle, and anybody can kill or like intentionally or unintentionally something may happen. So for that reason, the container may not start or may not work. So in those kind of situation, there will be a challenging. So in order to overcome this kind of challenge, we have one tool that is called Kubernetes. We call it K8s. So K8s or Kubernetes is one of the important tool, or one of the demanding tool nowadays. So that is called Kubernetes. Now what Kubernetes does? So it does the same thing whatever Docker is doing. So Docker is creating one container. Instead of container, Kubernetes will create some some kind of pods. So those are called not container, those are called pods. But as of now, just treat those things as a container. Don't confuse yourself. So some, let's say some container are being created by the Kubernetes. So let's say two containers are being created by the Kubernetes, and the testing team is accessing the application from this particular containers. Okay, now due to some reason, or some of the reason, one of the container is not working. So this is the challenge for the Docker, because if one thing dies, then again we have to restart it, or we have to manually check and update, and those kind of thing we need to do, right? But Kubernetes is intelligent enough to restart the pod again, or restart the container again. So if one container is not working, then what happen? Automatically it will create another container. So Kubernetes will create another container. So there will be no challenge. So if some application or some container is not working, Kubernetes is automatically going to create the container, and from that container the testing team can access the application. So that is the use case of Kubernetes. There are multiple use cases, but these are the main use case. Okay. Now once the application is deployed, so this is everything is done. Now using up to this point testing team. So when we hand over application to the testing team, that is also deployment, because we deployed the Docker image, or do we publish the Docker image into a particular server. That can be a testing server, that can be a real-time like a production server, or some kind of thing. Okay, so this deployment is done. So this is the phase from starting development to the deployment. Now let's say this is the cluster, or here all the deployment is being done using either container, or either pod. Okay, now do you think the work is done till here? No. Why? Because application is running fine, everything is fine, but who is going to now, who is going to monitor the health of the application? What is happening inside the application, or what is the health of the application? There are multiple things. So after the deployment, we have to do again on high level, mainly three things. First thing is to monitor the application. The application is running fine or not, what is the issue of the application, those kind of thing we have to understand. Second thing, if some issue comes, how can we understand why the issue comes? We have to read some logs, those are called logs. So the output of the particular application we need to read, and then only we can understand, okay, this is the reason the application is not running. So for that we need to do some logging. Okay, So we have to check or monitor the application, we have to log the application, and finally we have to do set some alert. So alerts means, suppose one server is running and CPU usage is more than 80%. So that means within few days all the CPUs will be occupied and the server will be come down because it is not having some free or available CPUs. But how can we know that this particular very moment this is going beyond 80%? So those can be done via the alerting. So there are multiple alerting tool. We are going to see the CloudWatch. In the CloudWatch, we can implement the alert, and we can practically see when some server usage is going beyond a some threshold. That can be 70%, 75%. That is up to us what we set. But if it is going beyond that, automatically we will get one email, and via the email we can understand, okay, there is something going beyond. Now once we get it, we come to the application and we can do the different thing. So that is a different topic, that how to resolve it. We can either create another server, or in the same server we can increase the configuration, like maybe CPU or memory, those kind of thing we can increase, and then everything is going under control. But this is important, like monitoring, logging, alerting. So these are the things we have to do. So for the monitoring, as I said, we are going to see the CloudWatch, that is the native AWS service. Along with that, we are going to see Prometheus and Grafana, which will give us the like dashboard, how to visualize or how to monitor the particular application. Okay, and logging, we can implement that using Loki, Promptel. So these are the tools we are going to implement or use, or to see how to implement, how to set up, and how to see the application log using this. And alerting, again we are going to see using Grafana and CloudWatch. Okay, so these are the high level tools. From this point, like from developer point of view to the logging point of view. Okay, so what are the tools we have as of now? Git, Maven, Artifactory management, either JFrog or S3 bucket, then the Docker, then Kubernetes, then Prometheus, then Grafana, then Loki, then Promptel, then CloudWatch. This kind of tools we have. But it is not only this, we have some different work also. What are those? Let's say for example, let's say for example, I have 3 servers. Okay, and one new team member has joined to our team. Okay, now we need to create the user ID in the servers. Now this is very much easy. We log into the server, we create the user, and all the users will be created in all of the server. Okay, that is fine. But now think, instead of 3 application or 3 server, there are 10,000 of servers, and the job is to same. One new member comes to our team and we have to create the user ID to the server. Now you can understand this is not a feasible or recommended practice to manually go inside each and every server and create the user. That can be user, that can be anything. I'm giving the example of the user. So it is not possible if the server count is huge. So in such case, we have to use one concept that is called configuration management. Okay. Now what it does, basically using a single file, we can change in all the server. So if we create a single file centrally, we can make the change in all our target server. That can be 3, 2, 100, 10,000 or whatever is the number. Just creating a single file, we can implement the change. So that is the purpose of the configuration management. There are multiple tools available in the configuration management, like Ansible, there is Chef, there is Puppet, but we are going to see Ansible. Why? Because Ansible has some benefit as compared to other tools like Chef and Puppet. That is why. What are the like benefit? We will see it later. But as of now, just to understand, we are going to cover Ansible for the configuration management tool. Is the job is done? No. Now, as of now, from starting to Git to Kubernetes, we see how the application journey from the Git to Kubernetes, how the application flows. We can know, we can tell anyone this is the flow, but how to implement that, where to implement that, how my Maven will understand, okay, I need to store the source code into or the artifactory in the S3 bucket, how my S3 bucket will understand, okay, now it's time to build the Docker image, how my Docker image understand, now it's time to create the container, or how my Kubernetes will understand, okay, now all the Docker images are created, now we have to deploy the pod. How this will happen? So this will happen using one concept that is called pipeline. So everything will be coming under a pipeline. Now what I mean by the pipeline? So let's say we are getting water in our house. How the water is the end application or end product we are getting in our house. But where the water is being created, either in the ocean or in the any other places where water is available, right? Now directly can we get it? No. First the filtration process will done. It has to store in some centralized location, then some filtering process will happen, then it will reach to some vendor location, from the vendor location it may reach to our house. So there are multiple layers like our application. So when the developer deploy the application, after that there are multiple layers are there, and then the end user get the application. So everything comes via the pipeline like like the water, right? Now this is why it is called pipeline. And in this pipeline also has another name that is called continuous integration. One second. Or we call it CI. This also we can, it is known as CI. CI means continuous integration. Okay. And this continuous integration can be achievable via multiple things. We are going to see the Jenkins. Jenkins is the basic tool we are going to cover in our session, but I'm going to teach you other continuous integration tool, for example, GitLab Action or GitLab or GitHub Action. So there are multiple CI tool available. So Jenkins is the basic tool we are going to cover, but I will also teach you how to use those different continuous integration tool like GitLab and GitHub Actions. Okay. So all the tools being integrated to each other via some pipeline or the integration tool that is called that can be Jenkins, that can be another integration tool. Okay. Now up to this, all the DevOps is done. Now each phase, like starting from the Git, Maven, artifactory management, Dockerize, deploy, each phase we can implement the security, because security is not in a single phase. It is it can be implemented in different phase of our software development life cycle. Now each of the phases we will see how to secure our application. Okay, that can be a container security, that can be like software application security, or that can be some dynamic application security testing, whatever it is. But each of the phase we will try to understand how this security tool is being implemented in each and every phase. Okay. So this is the entire picture of the DevOps, and these are the tools we are going to learn hands-on in the AWS cloud. environment. Okay, now if anybody has some question, you can ask me. Any doubt, any question, anybody can ask me.
Pritham, do we have any projects,
Yeah.
live projects
So
which can be practiced during the class?
yes. We do have, like, we will do one end-to-end project to implement all the things together. We will do that. But let me tell you one thing, like, project is fine, but in the real-time scenario, like, if you search right now in the YouTube, like DevOps project, you will get many things. But whoever is working in a particular industry, if you talk to them, you will understand it is not one person has to do all the things. Like, nobody will ask you to take the code from the you like developer and deploy to the and monitor and those kind of thing end to end. Nobody will ask you, but what they will ask you to know each and every tool very prominently as per the DevOps standard. Because when you reach to one interview, you can say, I have done this thing. But if I am the interviewer, I am very much keen to know what is your knowledge in a specific tool, let's say Docker or Kubernetes, those kind of thing. Okay. So yeah, project is there. I'm going to teach you end-to-end project, but think every day is our project, because in our real-time environment, whatever activity we will do here in our training, that is you are going to implement. So that is your project activity. And whatever we learn, suppose today we are learning Git. So next time when you are giving interview, you should say, I have worked on Git, and whatever activity we are doing, you have to say these are the activity in my last project I have done with the Git. Then if we have 10 tools, so you are having 10 different activities. Now each tool you are having 5 activities, then 50 different activities. So like that way we will build our resume, so that we can, like, crack the interview and we can showcase our skill set.
Okay, thanks, Pritham. So, this what are the contents of this particular training? Like Kubernetes also include or AWS include, and what are the security?
Content is there with the visual path, but as a high level, what I can say, the content, as you asked, let me share the content also, or write down the content also,
Mhm.
because normally I don't follow the textbook, whatever like real time use case, I follow those. So I will start with AWS. So first 1 or 2 day, I will give you the guidance how to start with GitHub AWS. Okay, that is the first thing I'm going to cover. But I will come back to AWS, like, in every tool, because all the things we are going to deploy on the cloud, AWS cloud only. So we will come back to AWS each and every day, you can say. Okay. After I start with AWS, I will cover the Linux part, because Linux is very much important. As a DevOps engineer, you should know Linux. Without Linux, you cannot survive, because all the server we are using, that is those are the Linux server. So you that is the expectation, that you should know the Linux command, Linux code, and those kind of thing. So Linux is very much important. Once the Linux is done, I will teach you Python, for to some extent, although this is not for the coding thing, but I just want to give you some heads up for the Python, because maybe or may not be, like, in your next job they require the Python. So if you know the basic, if you know how to install, how to work, what are these some basic core concept, if you are having, then suppose in 3 days or next week you are having the interview, you can prepare yourself, so that you should know the core concept. The core If the core concept is clear, then you can build the house on top of that. So that is my intention. It will be a small class, but I will give you the entire code of mine, or from there you can practice and do whatever. And and rest of the day, if you are having any challenges anywhere, feel free to come back to me. That is not a problem. Okay, so that is we are going to see. After the Python, we are going to see Git and GitHub. Okay, although as per today's session, I explained to you that Git is being used by the developer, but not only that, whatever code we are writing also, that has to be stored in some centralized location, and for that we in day-to-day basis we have to use the Git or the GitHub. Okay, that is we are going to cover. Now once that is done, we are going to see the Jenkins for the CI point of view. We will take one sample application from the GitHub and deploy the application using the Jenkins. As the Jenkins is there, then definitely there will be Maven to build the code. So we are going to implement the Maven in our pipeline. Once Maven is done, we are going to see the Artifactory management. So here we are going to focus how to store the artifact. Okay. Or how to collect the different version of artifacts. Okay. That will be our next agenda. Now after that, what we have to do, once the Artifactory management is done, then we will move to the next tool, that is called Docker. So we are going to see the Docker. Then once the Docker is done, we are going to see Ansible, because Ansible can be used after Docker also, but normally we don't use it. But Ansible, better to understand Ansible before we understand Kubernetes. Okay. So once we are done,
Excuse me.
yes, please.
Could you clarify the Ansible rule again? One more time.
Okay, you want to know the purpose of the Ansible?
Yes.
Okay, I will come back to that. Just a minute.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so after that, we are going to understand the Kubernetes. Once Kubernetes is done, I missed one tool in my last slide, and the tool is Terraform. This is one of the important tool, because okay, I will explain the Ansible and Terraform in a minute, but we are going to understand Terraform.
Okay.
Okay, once Terraform is done, then we are going to see the monitoring point of view, how to implement the monitoring stack. It will be Prometheus, it will be Grafana, it will be Loki, it will be Promptel. This kind, sorry, Promptel. So this kind of tool we are going to understand. And what I left, anything I left? Promptel, and yeah. So we are going to see the CloudWatch also.
As a CloudWatch is a security tool.
No. It's a monitoring tool. This, like from Prometheus, everything is monitoring tool. Prometheus, Grafana, Loki, Promptel, CloudWatch.
Anything on the security tools
Yeah,
perspective?
yeah. I will come to that.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
these are the high level tools we are going to achieve. Now, what I said from the security point of view. So security can be implemented in different layers or each and every layers. So from the security point of view, what we are going to understand, we are going to understand source code analysis. We are understand SAST, so source code analysis and security, software security testing. Okay, so these are the tools we are going to implement. So, and these we are going to implement using any of the thing. GitHub I cannot say right now, but either with GitHub Action or either GitLab, any of the tool we are going to use. Okay, and these are nothing but the CI tool, which is as same as the Jenkins, but the security testing tool we are going to implement using either GitHub Action or GitLab. Okay, so these are the things we are going to understand from the security point of view. These are the tools we are going to understand from the DevOps point of view. And along with that, from the AWS point of view, we are going to understand some important services during this journey. Let's say, for example, we are going to understand EC2, we are going to understand S3, we are going to understand IAM, we are going to understand CloudWatch, we are going to understand Lambda, we are going to understand code build, we are going to understand code commit, we are going to understand code pipeline, we are going to understand SNS, we are going to understand, let's say, BPC, um, what I'm left. So these are the high level thing. It will be like more than this, but as of now, what I can recall, I am typing this. So these are the tools we are going to cover from the AWS point of view. Okay. So these are the things we have in the session. Now comes to this 2 point. What is Terraform and what is Ansible? So first I'm talking about the Ansible. So suppose I have one cluster. Cluster means I have, let's say right now I have one project, and in the project what I have three different server or virtual machines running, or let's say EC2 machines are running. Now one new member joined to our team. Now the purpose is to add the user ID to three of the servers. I am giving one example, but it can anything. Like for example, I have to install Java in multiple server, I have to install Python in multiple server, I have to create a folder in multiple server, I have to create a single file in different server. There are many things. Okay. So in that case, if I want to do manually, what I have to do, I have to go inside these particular servers one by one, and I can create the user. Okay, that I can do. But if I want to like implement the same thing in the thousands of server, if let's say right now instead of three we are having the count of the server is 1,000. So in that case, what we can do, this is not possible. Like practically we log into 1,000 server one by one and do that, because it is a time consuming activity. So in that case, what we can do is we can create a single file while where all of the changes whatever we want to implement is present, and we can publish those changes. We can publish those changes in all of the required server. That can be one server, that can be 100 server, or that can be 10,000 server. So this is a centralized approach, and that is being like conquered via the configuration management CM tool. And in our case, we are going to understand Ansible for our CM tool, that is configuration management. Okay. So this is the purpose of the Ansible, and that is why we are going to understand everything. Okay. Now come back to the Terraform. Now as of now, let me show you one thing. So this is one AWS account I have. So in this account, I can create the server or many things I can do, but this is high level. This is the AWS account, right? Now, whatever I want to do. So suppose I want to create a server. So what I can do, I will click on launch instance. Now in after that, what a server have, a server has a name first. So maybe I'm giving test as a name. Then what is the next thing the server has? Server has the operating system. That can be Windows, that can be Mac, that can be Linux. So I can search a different operating system, and I can choose one of them. Let's say I'm choosing this Amazon Linux. Okay, so I'm choosing this. Now just a minute. Okay, now once the this is being chosen, then what we can choose, what is the what will be the configuration of our system. It can be 8 GB RAM or 16 GB RAM, or 1 TB hard disk, or 2 TB hard disk. Those kind of configuration we can achieve, right? We can give like this. You can see T2 micro. Inside the T2 micro, we beyond that, like T2 nano, we have T2 small, we have T2 medium, T2 large, many things. You can see 4 virtual CPU, 16 GB RAM, 8 virtual CPU, 32 GB RAM. So those kind of things we are going to cover everything later. Don't worry about that, but just to high level I'm giving the overview. So this kind of thing, so manually I can do all the things, and I can create the launch instance, or I can install or implement the instance. But this same thing I can do via one script also. Okay, so whatever we are creating, that is called infrastructure. So whatever over the AWS cloud we are creating, those are called infrastructure. Now those infrastructure can be created manually, what we just saw right now, or we can create some file, and or we can write some code, and using that code we can implement the same thing or achieve the same thing. That is called infrastructure as a code, or that is called IAC, infrastructure as a code. And Terraform is nothing but the part of the IAC. So Terraform help us to write the code, and using the code we can deploy or we can create the infrastructure over the cloud. What is the benefit of that is that suppose today we are working with the AWS cloud. Now after 6 months our client is shifting from AWS to GCP or Azure. Now in that case again we have to create the same thing again and again, right? It will be a hectic scenario. But if we are controlling everything via the code, only the changes we have to do is the cloud point of view we have to change. Suppose first we have the source as AWS, now we have to convert it to GCP or any other cloud, and some specific service we need to change. That is one benefit. Second benefit is, suppose today I have one EC2 instance and tomorrow somebody asks me to create a pool of EC2 instance, let's say 10 of EC2 instance. Now instead of creating one by one from the manual point of view, I just have to run this particular script. If I run the script, automatically that EC2 instance will be created. That is a second overview. Let me give you a third example. Suppose in our project we are using Terraform, right? So we are the expert of Terraform, or we know how to write the code or those kind of thing. Now we have a like another project. Suppose the project member is asking help from us to create the EC2 instance. So what we will do, we will just pass those script to them and just help them how to set up the Terraform. If we can do that, then you just running that particular script, they can create EC2 instance in their project. So it is not only our project specific, it is a global point of view. If we create the EC2 creation script, then I can or we can use the script anywhere, be it in a new project, be it in another project, or be it in some other cloud also. So that is the benefit of infrastructure as a code or Terraform. So these are the high level thing we are going to achieve in our session. Now tell me if you have any doubt or any question.
Hi, Pritam.
Okay. Thank
Amit,
you,
just
teacher. Uh, uh, what about the extra security tools? Please brief that security tools. There. Thank you.
what to
Before now, you mentioned there's an extra security tools we added DevOps. So please mention some of that security tools like this. Thank you.
okay, security tool is
DevOps.
as I said, SAS, dash, those kind of tools we are going to implement, and container security, those
Uh,
kind of tools.
so there in extra security tools we added DevOps session, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Please give me a brief for that.
Okay, whatever is there in the whatever session overview, you will get it from there. No problem. But I'm just saying from my point of view, this is the high level of over thing we are going to do. Basically, we are going to
Okay. Thank
implement
you.
a Java-based application. Yes, Naeem, Nazim. We are going to implement the Java-based application only. We are focusing on the Java-based application because most of the application are created on the Java. That's why.
Okay. Okay. I have one more query, Pritam.
Yep.
Just like Azure DevOps has its own Git repository, does the AWS also has such a
Yes.
repository? Why are we
Yes.
going to
Code build.
Git and
Code build. Code build is the AWS Git repo.
Oh, code build is the Git repository.
Yes.
Okay.
We have code build,
So
we have code commit, we have code pipeline. So code build is the Git, code commit is the Maven, and code pipeline is the Jenkins.
okay. Okay. And how deep
And
we are going regarding Docker and Kubernetes? I mean, do we have some intermediate level, or it's just basic level and then slightly going
Yeah,
to the
that is
Docker?
a very good. That is a very good question. So whatever I have shown to you, what I will teach you, I will teach you how to, first of all, the background, why the tool is required, what are the challenges this particular tool resolve. From that point of view, how to set the particular tool in our environment. From there, how to start the tool, and to the extent, like to the advanced level, how to use those this tool in the real-time environment. Okay. So everything, not only like basic, I am going giving you overview. I am going to give you the advanced overview also.
Okay, so like everything happens, installation, everything happens only on AWS, not on the local, right?
Come again,
Taking
please.
servers. So Docker installation or the Kubernetes configuration. So all those things you will demo us on the AWS EC2 instance or
Yes.
on the local.
No, no. AWS EC2 instance, but as Kubernetes is the like high-end application, so it takes many things, right? So that is why, along with the cloud also, I will teach you the local so that you can practice.
Okay. Okay.
hello, hello. Yeah, sir. Surab this side.
Yes, please.
Yeah, sir. Here you mentioned that the Python. So I know that Python is a programming language. Right? So as a DevOps engineer, so I need a Python knowledge. So it means that we deploy the, it means the programming the Python code. I means Python is necessary. It's important for the DevOps. My
No, no.
my
See,
question.
I'm yes, that is not like that. Python is important, but I want to like give you some overview, because what happened sometime after you complete the session, when you trying to give the interview, some organization are asking, do you have any scripting experience like Python? So that is the
Okay.
reason I'm going to give you some overview, so that the your base should be solid, so then you can practice depending on whatever need is coming. So
Okay.
that is,
The self scripting is like a Python script as the same, right?
yeah, script shell scripting and Python scripting is same, but the beauty of Python is shell scripting cannot work in Windows, but Python can work in Windows, Linux, Mac, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever like course to course basis, for the Python code to code basis, I will prepare something for you, and I will give that repository to you so that you can download in your local, and you can start like I will teach you also, but for the reference, I will give you also one repo from where you can practice for later.
So that time we need the Linux or Linux desktop or Ubuntu.
Windows is fine. Windows is fine. I am having the Windows machine. I will show you how to use in the Windows, and you can implement that.
Okay, great.
If somebody using macOS also, I can guide how to do that. That is not a problem. But yeah,
Okay, and so can you please K8 the like Kubernetes, right?
Kubernetes, yes.
Yeah. So Kubernetes, can you please once just for a short discussion once again, please?
Come again,
Why?
please.
Yeah, why we are use the Kubernetes?
Okay. Okay. I will come to that. But any other question do you have from? because for Kubernetes I have to go to the this um, this picture again. So that's why. Any other question do you have, Saurabh?
No, sir. At
Okay.
least I know I have worked on Docker. I have projects. It means React
Okay.
Native projects. So I deploy the use the Docker, right?
Mm-hmm.
But K8 and Kubernetes I have never used.
Okay.
My
That is
question
my
is,
responsibility to teach you and to
yeah.
become the master on the tools. That you can live with me. But if you have any other question, like before we start our session, that is fine.
Okay, no, sir. Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
Okay.
Pritam,
I
do
will
we
come
have
back to you. What is Kubernetes? But yeah, Nazim, please.
are we covering any security tool like Sonar Cloud or something like that?
No, Sonar Cloud is not. I don't think I am going to teach. I am going to mainly teach this SCA, SAS, DAS, container security, those kind of thing, which normally we are being used. But Sonar Cloud, that is okay. If we need it, I can teach you. That is not a big thing. But as of now, I cannot think of that Sonar Cloud. That's it.
So
But
you
if you need,
mentioned
I
like,
can, or anybody need, I can definitely teach that.
okay, so you mentioned like GitLab, GitHub Action. So those are uh, GitLab and GitHub. They are providing their own security uh,
No, no,
tools,
no, no,
something
no,
like.
no, no. I mean, those are the replacement of Jenkins. Like Jenkins, whatever
Okay.
Jenkins can do, GitLab also do the same thing. GitHub Action also do the same thing. But what
Yes,
I'm saying is, using those two things, I can implement. I can show you how to implement SCA, those kind of security thing. Like some project use SAST and DAST. If you heard about that, so those kind of thing are being used very popularly.
well,
So
these
I
two
I
are
will
tools.
teach you.
This means SCA and SAS. They are the
Yeah.
tools or they are the concepts.
These are the concept actually. Tools like owner can be Vera Code 45, those are the owner. But
Okay.
under the line, they are using SAST and DAST concept.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Thank you. And Python, as mentioned, like in any of the AWS service, are we going to demonstrate that Python?
Like how to create the particular service you are saying?
Not creating the service. In any of the AWS service, are we going to use Python?
Not really, no.
Okay.
But Python is needed for your day-to-day activity. Let's say you have to automate something. For let's say, for example, I'm giving you one example. Suppose as a DevOps engineer or as any of the engineer, yeah, in the server there are multiple log file is coming, right? Suppose you are getting many file .log log file, .txt file, .pdf file, many things comes. Now you can create one script like so just understand the scenario. You are having one server, and in the server multiple applications are deployed. Now different server dumps their log. That can be in different format, Excel format, text format, log format, or something, or many file you may create. Today you create YAML file, tomorrow you can create Python file, day after tomorrow you can create Java file. So there are different extension. Now how to store those files in a separate location? For example, Java based code should be stored in Java folder. Python based whatever code you are creating should be stored in Python folder, or txt folder, text folder, pdf folder, and log is log folder. Now definitely we are not going to rely on the server, because the server can die anytime. So we have to centralize or store those files central in the central location. Now AWS is our central location. For example, in S3 bucket we can store it, and we can write a small script by which whatever files is creating on our server, in every 24 hours the script will run and store the files in a separate S3 folder or S3 bucket. Or we will create some specific dedicated bucket for let's say Python file, Java file, and whatever files we will having on the server, it will be stored on those file automatically. So though this is a small thing, right? But this can be achieved, but this is a manual thing. This can be achieved via Python. So this is the way you can use or implement Python.
Okay.
There are many use cases, but whatever I'm giving one simple use case right now. But whatever you do, you have to understand how the Python works. And my agenda is to like give you the overview how the Python works.
Okay. Okay. Good. Got
Is it clear, Nazim?
Yeah. Yeah. I got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Any other question from anyone? Okay. If not, the question asked was why we need Kubernetes. Suppose this is one server, and in the server, as you said, that you do have the Docker experience. So definitely you are working with the Docker container. Suppose
Yes, yes,
this is
yes.
the Docker container, and in the container you are deploying Docker image, and your container is running. Your state of the container, because container has some life cycle. So current life cycle is running, and all of a sudden, if the life cycle is stopped due to many reasons, there can be many factors. But I'm saying if the container is stopped, then you cannot start it automatically. You can do that using Docker, but that is a different concept. But on the high level, you cannot start this automatically. What you have to do, you have to log into the server and then convert this stop container to the start container. Let's say as the container is not running or stop, then you have to just type docker start the container ID. That is a simple command, right? Now by that we can run this container. Now let's say you are having thousands of hundred of containers like that. Every container is stopped or terminated or well, like delete from your server. Then it is very much impossible to track those hundred or thousand changes. In that case, we need some intelligent tool which can detect, okay, this container is being stopped. Then what I have to do? I have to start this container again. So this is the intelligence come for the Kubernetes. The Kubernetes is responsible to check what is your desired state and what is your actual state. So desired state means what you need. Actual state means what you get. So Kubernetes is responsible to meet those desired state and the actual state. So that is why Kubernetes is running behind the scene, and it will help us to maintain our desired state to the actual state, which Docker cannot do. That is the major use case why people need to shift from Docker to Kubernetes. There are many, but this is the major one. I hope you got it, Saurabh.
Yeah, sir. So it's fine. I got the point. But if I suppose my one project run only use the one Docker, just like example.com a website, so it's run as a one Docker file, right? So that time my project load too much load. So that time Kubernetes automatic scale off,
Yes. So
right?
you are saying auto scaling, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the Docker cannot do this auto scaling. This is the second use case, but Kubernetes can do that if we implement the horizontal
Yeah.
pod auto scaling.
So that time if I use the Kubernetes, that is possible. Okay?
Yeah, that now depending on whatever is your project need, it is not like
So
that we can do, but the need of the
okay.
project.
So I can use the one Docker with the Kubernetes. Okay? I can set up with one Docker.
Yeah, you can set up, but for the Kubernetes, you do not have to set up the Docker. Kubernetes is created on top of Docker. Whenever you install Kubernetes, automatically Docker will be installed.
Okay. 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 Got you. My point. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Pritam, I have one query.
Yes,
Uh,
please.
uh, are we covering ECS and EKS, or are we just using EC2 and installing their
No, no, no.
Docker?
No. EKS we are covering because that is a Kubernetes cluster for AWS. But the challenge is that EKS is not a like for one day you can use it, but you cannot learn everything with running your EKS. That is a like toll taking. So that is why EKS we will see how to implement, how to create, how to start. But EKS is nothing but the Kubernetes cluster. Same thing we can create locally and we can use it. The concept will be same, but this Kubernetes is different location, on-prem or cloud.
Okay, locally in sense on the VM on
Yeah,
the
yeah, in the
particular
same server, same server. I will guide you how
EC2
to.
servers. Okay,
Not EC2. I am going to show you the Rancher desktop that is specifically built for Kubernetes. Uh, Not EC2 I will use. So there will be no charge. So that I am using. Otherwise, if you have the budget, you can use it in KTS or EKS. But the thing is, same thing we can use in a local system also to practice on the Kubernetes side.
okay,
Concept is same. Everything we are going to get, but instead of cloud, we will deploy our local server and run those.
okay, sure. And so we will have one high level architecture also, right, at the end of the uh, course. So by that we understand the flow actually, how it's starting
Yeah,
via
project is
Terraform.
project will be there. As I said, project end-to-end project is definitely there. But so to understand how the flow, but once we do that, what I'm saying is whatever we do in each and every day, that is our project. So you can treat that is our project, but end of the day or end of the training, end to end project I will show you. I will pick up one sample random project from the Git and I will deploy to the EKS cluster using Maven, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, Ansible, those kind of tools.
Sure, thank you.
Okay.
And
But
one
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
So I'm saying that that only thing whatever we will do each and every day because we are treating let's say Python today. Now definitely somebody if the opposite side of the table asking like do you have Python experience then he is expecting you should have some project experience. That means whatever we will do Python we were going to focus on the like day-to-day problem solving skill so that we can like tell to them yes this was the issue I faced and this is how I overcome that.
Okay, got it. Pritham.
Okay, yeah, any question? Yeah, Vivin, as I said all this cloud server with Vagrant, no, cloud server I'm going to use AWS actually. Any other question, anyone? If not, I have two small requests from you guys. Like as I said, there is no prerequisite, but the only prerequisite what I can impose to you is if you start this training, first thing is you should have one active AWS account. That is a must. And second thing is whatever we understand in each and every class, you have to practice and next day come up with some questions. So you have to show your dedication or you have to practice. I don't know what is your time schedule, but you have to like take 1 or 2 hours in a day to practice whatever we learned each and every day. Okay, that is one thing. And the second thing is normally why I asked you to create the AWS account. Normally, although I do have the AWS account, but I don't share my screen. I ask, let's say Nazim is learning this AWS, right? So I will ask Nazim, can you please share your screen? So he will share the screen. I will teach, okay, Nazim, now go to the launch instance, launch the instance. And this is the purpose of this, this is the purpose of this, why we need this, everything I will explain to him and he will do on my behalf. What will happen? he will have some hands-on experience on the first glance only. And next thing, whenever he will get the recording, second time he can practice from his side. So nothing will be like 100% new to from his side, or maybe 50-60% new, but not 100% new. And like that way, you have to habitualize with the tools and technology whatever you are using or going to use day-to-day basis. So yeah, that is why I need you to have one active AWS account and your practice. Duration of the course, normally we complete the session within 50 to 60 hours actually. Now it depends batch to batch, but this is the high level. Like you can say 2 months is the duration. Each day I can give a 1 hour, but if you can take more than one, I am happy to give you. That is not a problem. Okay. If you want, if you can take it, if you ask me to stretch for 2 hours, I'm happy. I will teach you for 2 hours for the particular day. That is not a problem. But again, you have to get it done. Next day before coming to the session, you have to get it done. Whatever you practice.
Pritham, what is the usual timings for the classes?
This time, same time only. Same
Okay,
time.
7 p.m., right?
Yeah. And again, but before starting the class, one more thing is like some of the weeks I will not be available on Thursday because I have some other commitment also. Thursday I am not available for some of the weeks. I will update on the starting of the week, or if I am not available for the Thursday, if you want I can either one day I can stage for 2 hours to make it 5 hours in a week, or I can come on Saturday or Sunday, whatever is your like free time. I can connect and I can like train on those particular days, and whatever we learn, everything will be recorded. So after the session, within 24 hours the recording will be like sent to you in a particular link, and you can, and that is for lifetime access. I cannot do that because I cannot do recommend you for a job. That is not I can do, but what I can do is I can circulate your resume toward what network I have. Now, if there is a vacancy, definitely they will call you and get it done. And when you get a call, be it from my side or your side, you have to make sure you are prepared 100%. That I can give you the confidence that yes, you are prepared 100%. That confidence I can give you to crack the interview.
Pritham, will be there any daily task that should be completed?
No, daily task I will not like give you, but daily task will be whatever. Suppose, as I said, suppose you are sharing your screen, I am guiding you, you are doing that, and rest of the people is having that particular daily task, have to implement the same thing in their system.
Okay.
So first we will practice and then I will give you some tasks. Let's say Python we are doing after 7 days. I will give you my code base and I will give you some tasks and you can try to resolve those. Yeah. Any question? Okay, if not, I don't know you are connected with Visual Path or not. If Visual Path do not have your contact detail, you can ping to them, or if you have any clarification or any further question related to other things, not related to training, because I am here to teach you the training part. But apart from the training part, if you have any doubt, any questions, any queries, you can directly reach to Visual Path. They will guide you further. And when is the next class? Visual Path is your point of contact. They will update you according to your response or your update. They will going to conduct the session. And yeah, that is for now. I hope that is good. to start with this, and I hope this syllabus is good for you from your point of view to start the journey. From my point of view, this is the like end-to-end entire thing I covered. Try to cover everything in a single training. But from your point of view, I will urge you to do your diligence, you do your research and all, and then you take the decision. Because everyone, like, I'm not kind of person or not those kind of thing. Like, you have to learn this kind of thing. First, you have to understand what is your current situation, what is your goal, and is this syllabus is fit for you to achieve your goal. Then only you assign or start this journey, because nothing is free, everything is paid. So before you pay your hard-earned money, I want you to research whatever you want to do, and then take your decision. Once you start this training, I am here to give you the confidence that uh, after 60 days or after 2 months, you will be on that shape that you can crack or try or almost crack one interview. I don't know what are the different tools coming in the market, because that is the challenge of DevOps. I may not know like 20 40 tools, because those are also in the market. But whatever knowledge I have, if the tool is not matching with me, I can manipulate that interview according to my skill set. So that confidence I can give you, and rest is up to you. Yeah, that is all for today.